And okay, that looks like it's good. Going on lens. Okay, so much for kick, but that's fine.
For
And
kick.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I always forget about kick.
yeah, no one ever remembers kick. I've had it fail, but still work before.
Kick is not what it used to be, man.
It is not. Honestly, Sam, if I make things work with kick, great. But I'm never going to be able to compete with those hot tub titty streamers over there. Just no, none of it. I mean,
Don't got enough fan service, man.
fan service. I got little dice that roll up that I can't compete. This ain't no bikini show right here. I don't even know. Everybody just look at my dice. Look at me. Maybe if I just posed in a pool of dice.
We need like a NerdMilitia calendar.
a NerdMilitia calendar? What would we put in that?
No, you know how they have like the safe nude calendars? You know, there you go.
Okay.
Like Markiplier did one of those.
Now hear me out, Sam. Now you're in better shape than I am. We get like a kiddie pool, and we just fill it with dice, and we just have you just kind of like lazing it around in it, and just like, no shirt, just like a day at the beach, but it's just all these dice, nat 20s, all through.
That'd be like stepping on Legos.
Yeah, it'd be like Legos.
Oh my god, getting out would be like death.
The get out of the pool of dice challenge.
Oh my god, that could sound really fun. Actually,
I bet we could convince a bunch of
pool with dice.
Yeah, what if we convince a bunch of TikTokers that it's fun to swim in Legos?
We start our own trend, right?
Yeah, I think there's some potential there. If CNN can talk people into eating Tide Pods, then, I think we have a shot. Let's start the show. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the talk show that brings you monsters, news, and homebrews. I am your host, Orion.
And I am your host, Sam.
I'm telling you, bud, just Lego pools, dice pools, and if you dump them out on the floor, that's a lot of damage either way. That's all there is.
This image is it's painting a whole new idea.
A very dangerous idea.
You just use dice as like, what are those, like ball bearings,
I'm thinking caltrops, like, how dangerous would Kevin McAllister be in Home Alone if he was a dice goblin?
Look, talk about Kevin McAllister. Should have been in prison by the second movie, all right?
I mean, the theft, the breaking and entering, the meeting up with Donald Trump would get him hanged in modern day.
Look, the first movie, all right, you stand your ground. I agree with that.
Yeah,
they broke into his house. They committed some Geneva Convention rules. It's fine.
Well,
like in the second movie,
I don't
spoil Home Alone for whoever seen it. I guess
it's been over 20 years. But, maybe our guest tonight knows a little bit more about dice and Legos with the Geneva Convention. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, guys. I'm Crystal. I go by GingerGeekGal56 all over social media. I am the founder of GinGal Games. We just successfully launched and funded our Kickstarter for our game of Divine Calling, which will be fully out of production in March. So we're hoping to get it to our backers in March.
That sounds so exciting.
We are so close. It's just final passes now with my editor and then with my layout artist. So that's where we are with that. But I do love the idea of making people get into a kiddie pool with dice. My recommendation is not to use sharps or D4s. Everything else I think you can get away with.
Yeah, just D12s. It's like
Just
golf
D12s.
balls.
Yeah, D12s. Maybe maybe a D100.
That's legitimately a golf ball.
Crazy.
You ever meet
That's the
someone that's got
easy
like one of
one.
those liquid D100s where it's just like all kind of like stubbled up like a golf ball, and then like it spins around on the inside?
Yes, I have one.
Dude, I've been seeing a lot of those Facebook ads for the ones that have like the eyes inside.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
looks so
creepy
fucking
and
cool.
wonderful.
I want one.
I love a good liquid core. Like I don't need more dice. I'm gonna start that sentence because my wife would kill me if I brought more dice into my house.
I
Uh,
feel that on a spiritual level.
but a good liquid core die is my favorite.
How do they make it so that they're not, shifting?
I don't know.
You know, it's
I
one of
don't
the
make dice.
magics there. You know,
Yeah, one of the
it's
magics.
eldritch magic. They capture it inside the die, and that way, when you go home to the wife and you're like, "Honey, please don't kill me now. Listen, look at this. Look at this.
I mean,
There is an eyeball in this die. It is floating around in there. Like
you're gonna ignore the fact that it's a little bit weighted, I guess. Whatever.
You're gonna ignore the fact that I spent too much money on them, but
Yeah.
definitely look it floats.
Yeah.
It
But
floats.
if I'm rolling like a death save, think about how cool that death save would be with I and I rolled the Eldritch Eye die.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Now, hear me out. Lord of the Rings campaign, and you get one that's straight the Eye of Sauron, and you're the DM. You roll that right across the table.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah, flavor. Flavor's free. The dice, however, are not.
No, never.
Free dice. That's how you get me into the that white van down the road.
Gotta see them first, but then I'll get in.
Trust,
Look,
but
man,
verify.
I've been thinking about how far we've come in society from don't get into car rides with strangers. Now we have Uber, and how easy it would be for people to just poison you on the street. Because I mean, someone just walked up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to try this?" I'd be like, "Yeah, all right."
First off,
walk out of a concert without seeing like a hot dog guy out there. Like I have this core memory of walking out of a K-pop concert into the streets of LA, and there were these guys with the bacon wrap hot dogs and onions, and I was like, I don't even care. I'm starving.
I'll take my chances.
Exactly. Our elders or whatever would be ashamed.
Totally.
They used to do the same thing. Like, dude, I live in Maine where people are like, "Here, neighbor, would you like a meat pie?" It's just like,
could never eat a meat pie.
I have once, just once.
I liked Sweeney Todd way too much to eat meat pies. Like, I went to London and I would eat a meat pie. I was like, there's a person in there. You can't convince me otherwise.
You and my wife would get along very well. Definitely on the same wavelength there. Right down to, you mentioned playing Vampire the Masquerade earlier. She's very interested in getting into that.
Surprisingly, with the chaoticness that is Vampire and World of Darkness in general, I've seen a lot of people lately be like, hey, I want to get into this. And I'm like, cool. I've been doing this since I was in college. I started actually in LARP. So, because there's a version you can do of Vampire that's a LARP. So I started that way. That's actually how I even got into tabletop in general, because it was like a hybrid game.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that because there's a lot of vampire communities that join together, all predicated on tabletop LARP type stuff with vampire.
Yes.
I believe one of the big ones in the community for that is Michelle Belanger. She's like one of those. She has this whole community for like psychic vampires and shit.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
we
wild.
were just a little random group of theater nerds playing in someone's like apartment complex. There were like 8 or 9 of us who had apartments in that complex, and so we just used each other's apartments as different locations, and we ran around the quad all the time. This was my Friday nights in college.
You know what? I can vibe with that, considering my time in college. I would hang out in the little common area playing Magic with my friends. It's like, you do what you do.
We played a lot of Magic too, just not on Fridays, because that was LARP night.
I've never really been into LARP
Oh man,
because I'm just the kind of guy that's like, for me, I'm like, I keep my well, most LARPs that I've seen are kind of a combat and role play, and I like
Yeah.
to keep my role play and my combat separate. If I'm gonna beat the shit out of someone, I'm not gonna be role playing about it. It's gonna be straight up and it's gonna be brutal.
No rock, paper, scissors.
I wish my
Fifth-
girlfriend were here. She loves to LARP, and she would love this conversation. I feel like I have nothing to add. I think LARPing looks so cool. I feel like I would love to do it.
Oh, I could make you some weapons, dude. I'm really good at making foam weapons. I once made this giant pyramid head sword for my friend's cosplay.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was making foam fighting weapons because we got into like the little foam fighting ring in my cosplay community way back before I was really big in the community. And so we made the like weapons and stuff for the fighting pit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this: what is the coolest thing that you've either done or saw in a single fight during all of that?
I definitely saw someone. So this was like, okay, let's get you in the headspace. The year is 2013. Okay.
Right.
Everyone is still really into Naruto. Homestuck is rampant. Okay.
Mhm.
Naruto, Sasuke, and Karkat are having a 3-way fight. Naruto and Sasuke are both missing an arm, and Karkat is only got one leg. In an attempt to win, Karkat does a backflip, manages to successfully, while doing the backflip, kill Sasuke. The person doing Naruto drops to their knees and goes, Sasuke!
This is
Real
the
thing
Mexican
that happened in
standoff I
front
never
of
knew I
me.
needed.
Literally happened, and
love
like
it.
this was a top tier Homestuck too. So like their horns didn't fall off or anything. Their gray paint was spotless. Like it was perfection.
That sounds really cool.
Damn.
It was so good. And then I had to go run around and be in Hatalia instead. I was like, this is cool, but I gotta go be a nation.
I gotta be a country.
I gotta be a country. I gotta be England.
Oh damn! I love Italia because like it just chibis the whole thing and it's making fun of all these countries and it's just so charming. But
It is, and the worst thing is it's like still alive. And every now and then my friends will be like, "What if we did Hatalia again?" And I'm like, "Not again." But I recently went to a convention where a lot of the Death Note voice actors were,
Cool.
which brought back like all the Light and L cosplayers who were like handcuffed together, walking around with yaoi paddles, and I was like, "What is happening?
Oh my god.
Am I gonna have to be a country again?"
What the
I love all of this. I can't say I've seen anything nearly as cool as what you described. I think the coolest moment I've had while getting a bunch of my friends for like kind of a boffer LARP style combat was one of my buddies had like the biggest sword that I had made, and I just had like a little one-handed short sword. So I didn't know if I could actually pull it off. So I charge at him. He goes for the wide swing, and I jump over it and like half turn midair and strike him in the back before landing. And I was like,
Nice.
oh, that felt so cool. Like,
Did you superhero land?
Almost, like kind of like half. So I was like, I had to kind of like stick the landing, but like I couldn't get like the perfect landing. So I'd say 6.5 out of 10. But
That's
damn,
good.
if it felt amazing just being able to get that anime style move out, because you would never get away with anything like that in a HEMA fight.
Right.
Man, I've been thinking about it a lot lately because I saw this post on Facebook, and it was like, when was the last time you ran full speed? uh, yeah,
That's hilarious because I remember one time when I was in school, I ran full speed on a treadmill to see what my top speed was.
Oh God!
Right now, it was only like 19 miles an hour. Okay, that's pretty good. Usain Bolt has me beat running just over 27 miles an hour, so I'm no Usain Bolt. Not by any means at all.
Right.
But imagine the frustration of trying to convince somebody that you can run almost 20 miles an hour. Like, people think you're a fucking liar every time.
Yeah, there's like no fucking way.
It's not possible. No human can run 20 miles an hour.
It's crazy to think of like back in like high school or whatever. Like I was fairly good at sports, you know. I was like racing people on the daily or whatever. Like now I think about like Job Corps, you know, we used to race people sometimes. Like,
They still let you run there?
Yeah. Remember? What do you mean let me?
That place was so neutered and coddled. Like,
oh man, you remember the road to the wreck by the dorm?
Yeah,
It was like that long road.
Yeah,
people
I
used
know the
to
one.
Run up and down that one.
That'd be
Like,
the one
oh
to do.
Sam, race me. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? That's fun.
I used to have a 9-minute mile because we were required to have a
Ooh, that's
9-minute or
good.
less mile for soccer.
Oh God, soccer. Ugh.
I was a goalie. I was a goalie. I didn't even run that much. They still made me every morning. I had to run cross country and then I had to run a mile. And I was like, I just ran 3 miles. Why do I have to run another mile?
The soccer player listeners were like, wait, what the hell? What do you mean?
Honestly, all I want from the goalie is to have really good jump skills. Like that episode of Samurai Jack where he learns how to jump good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Goalie, jump good. And that's all you need. Because if you got that cricket style, just jump, boom, got it.
Man, some sports, like soccer, just give me the ick. I hate running.
Why do you think I was a goalie?
Like I played a lot of football in like school and stuff, and like
y'all only run for like 2 seconds.
That was too much.
When I was in
volleyball
high school,
was where it was at.
I made a point to shame the jocks at my school because like I'd be a D&D nerd playing Magic with the table gaming club and whatnot, but when it came to the fitness test, I was like, nah. I'm not about to let these people that are in sports think that they're better than me. No, it's not happening.
I feel that so much.
So, I took that personally. So anytime there was a fitness test, I'd be maxing out all that stuff. Like, while the jocks were struggling to push out 40 push-ups, I'd be doing 83. If there was a run, okay, well, I'm running the full 20 minutes. Meanwhile, everyone else is just kind of like jog, walk. Like,
100%. I was not running or putting my best effort forward unless I was on the field and my coach was looking at me. Otherwise, good luck.
So I was talking to like my friend and my girlfriend. They were telling me that like their school never had them change for gym, like that they could just like walk into PE, sit on the bleachers, and like pass. I was like, what kind of crazy school did you go to?
First off, there's so much wrong with that because like if you actually do anything active, now your clothes are just drenched in sweat for the whole day. So you're disincentivized to actually do anything.
Right. I'm like, they didn't even have, they were like, we never changed into any clothes or anything. I was like, we never had locker rooms. I'm like, what? That's like mind-boggling to me because like my whole school life career whatever was like we had locker rooms, you would go into the boys locker room, change, whatever. That was like regular, and it's like, what, you didn't have that kind of school?
Honestly, like
did they have sports?
Yeah,
like the TV taught you that you go to high school, you go into the locker room, and inevitably someone gets whipped with a towel, and it's kind of like weird. Like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know.
People had showers, but no one ever used them.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I showered
it's
every
sketch.
morning. I had soccer I had soccer for my first period. So
Oh
we
man.
got there at like 6 a.m. and then
Ew.
we did soccer and then I took a shower and I went to math class every freaking year.
Bro, I took a nap in that math class. I'm telling you right now.
I didn't take math my senior year because I had already taken enough math. So
Hell
my
yeah.
senior year I played soccer and then I went to English.
That's
Nice.
how you do it.
How did we start talking about school?
I
I
don't know.
don't know. We were all the nerds in schools, but speaking of
Oh,
nerd
yeah.
things, I'd like to know more
Yeah.
about the project that you got going on the Kickstarter. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, fittingly enough, it is about high schoolers.
Oh,
Awesome. We
damn.
got the segue.
It come full circle.
So, A Divine Calling is a new tabletop RPG. It's kind of a rules like intro friendly game.
Hmm.
It's going to be a D6 system, so you can go get your D6 from Monopoly, Yahtzee, whatever you have. You don't have to go buy special dice. You play as a high schooler who is chosen by the gods to help defeat an ancient cult known as the Void. The void has been created over the years from the hate and the malice and the disdain people have for the gods.
Hmm.
It has become its own entity because of all of this anger that it has, giving followers of the void powers. Your job as a host of a divine being is to prevent the void from killing all the gods and severing the gods from the world. You
I
will be
like.
given a god, which will be your deity type, and you'll have your clique. So you can be a
Mhm.
popular kid, you can be like a stoner. That's really popular. Lots of stoners, lots of people
Yeah,
hitting their
yeah.
vapes in the middle of class to talk to their deities. So you can
I
kind of
love
choose
it.
whatever you want.
Interesting.
We do also have the weeb group. Um,
Weeb.
we have a dweeb.
Nice.
Represent.
And then we have 20 deity types. So overall, there's 200
Oh no.
click deity combinations you can come up with. So we have
Damn.
basic deity types like sun, moon. Then we have some stuff that's a little more niche like sleep, hearth, stuff like that.
Mhm. Okay, interesting. Interesting.
I like that. It's kind of almost Percy Jackson-ish, but like,
Yeah, it's very
Dude, I
Percy
love
Jackson
Percy
meets
Jackson.
Buffy, kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because it's just one of those settings that is very appealing. I don't know if you've ever seen
Mm.
Troll Hunters, for example.
Yes.
Yeah, like it really gives some of that Troll Hunter vibe.
Mhm.
And I love that because the Troll Hunter setting is, for one, just fantastic. Very well put together. Shout out to Guillermo del Toro for putting together Troll Hunters. Like, I
Right?
absolutely love the setting.
It's just so good. But I
I'm
really,
very intrigued by the god
I really
system.
like Chosen One stories. Literally just got back from
Mm.
watching the new Hunger Games movie. Really good, by the way. So
Nice.
I love a good Chosen One story, and so that's kind of what I wanted to bring into my first game.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where if the party doesn't want to work together, too bad. Y'all are the chosen ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that's part of the challenge. And
Yeah, like if anyone ever saw like a show, a first show that comes to my mind that I used to watch as a kid growing up that kind of really goes for this aesthetic is Witch, the one where they had like these high school girls and they like get these powers and shit and they're
Yes,
Mhm.
the blue
fight.
outfits.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I love Witch. Witch and Winx.
I mean, I always think of
for real. Like they
characters.
had no business being as good as they were.
Right?
Digimon is a big one for me. Like,
Did you to yeah?
yeah, I'm a huge huge Digimon nerd, So they're very big, like chosen one energy. Like, I mean, most of
Yeah,
them are,
absolutely.
friends or whatever, but some of them don't like each other, and they kind of do it anyway.
They have to. I mean, one of the biggest plot lines they had going on is like Matt and Ty, those dudes do not mesh, but when they
Mhm.
work together, it's fusion time, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden, it's real.
absolutely. So I'm very curious about the god system.
Yeah. So your more than welcome to choose any god from any pantheon across all the amazing pantheons. The
Right.
examples we give are going to be your Greek, your Roman, your
Mm.
Norse, and your Kemetic deities are going to have examples with each deity type. But you can choose anyone, obviously.
Right.
Or
So
take the
something like Anubis, for example.
Mhm. Would be
Yeah.
could be a death god, could also
Yeah.
be under the umbrella of knowledge,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
I
So
like
really
that.
it's up to you to choose, and if per se you wanna do if you both wanna do Anubis, but one wants to do death and one wants to do knowledge, you can
Mhm.
both work with Anubis, you just have different deity types.
Absolutely. Okay, that makes sense.
I like the
It's
sound of
very
that.
interesting.
And then there's always the potential. This kind of slipped through the one campaign that I ran with you, Sam, where we were doing the Greek pantheon. The potential of that one
Oh
frat,
yeah,
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 that party boy, because you take Dionysus, and all of a sudden your whole deal is, yeah, you might be the stoner that's throwing a keg party on the weekends, in addition to being the chosen one.
Yes,
yeah.
very
Right.
much so. We
That's
had
pretty
a we had a stoner who worked with Apollo, and so they
oh,
would, like,
cool.
get high and they would paint.
I love
Cool.
it.
It
It's
was really fun.
interesting. I like
Apollo's
that a
so
lot.
underused.
Yeah.
I agree.
Honestly, it was one of my favorite moments running my playtest was when my party was like, "We're all gonna get high and we're gonna paint our deities," and I'm like, "Okay, make those creative roles, I guess."
Oh yeah.
You,
They
this
had
is great.
too much fun.
I think you
Mm.
could legitimately write an entire book series just with the simple premise there, and it's more relatable to that young adult genre. If you wanted to
Yeah.
go that way, like you have your party members come together. Okay, we're going to write a book, but it's all going to be us fucking around,
Very much so, yeah.
This is so cool.
right?
Hi.
'Cause-
I'm very intrigued. I would definitely play this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
It's always nice to hear that because, as a designer, you get a lot of
Mm.
imposter syndrome. Like every day I would check my Kickstarter and I'm like, it's never gonna make. And then literally like 3
Yeah.
before it made, I was like, yes,
Yeah, I
validation.
relate to imposter syndrome
Congratulations, man.
so much just being a host of this show.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome is real and it sucks, but
Mm.
just like being able to come on things like this and just connecting with people in the community just in general is always really helpful for me, honestly.
Mhm. Well, we're glad we can have you here today.
Yes. A really great thing we added after we did all of our playtesting, we ended up adding what's known as the anxiety chart. Something we thought was really great for high schoolers was this chart
Nice,
of
nice.
anxiety
Yes, 10 out of
and kind of
10 right there.
thank you as you
Is it
kind of
like
go
a
through things.
blog kind of thing?
So essentially, it's this like chart that's followed on your character sheet as you do things like fail certain social roles specifically, you get more and more anxious to a point
Mhm.
where once you're all the way to the left and you're like at full anxiety, you have disadvantages and stuff like that. So like you have -2 to
Okay.
your rolls and things like that. But as you succeed more and you do more things socially, you become more confident in things like that, which gives you more bonuses to your rolls and
I
stuff.
like that.
It makes
We thought it
sense,
was a
really.
really good way to work in the calm down mechanic. We
Mhm.
have I added a role called Calm Down, which I got from either Kids on Bikes or Glitter Hearts. No, not Glitter Hearts. Monster Heart. One of those two, I
Mhm.
don't remember, has a very similar mechanic where you can like calm someone else down. And I had put it in there originally and we didn't have anything for it. And after like a while, we were like, what about an anxiety chart? You can
Mm.
use your calm down mechanic for the anxiety chart.
I really like the idea of even like incorporating this into like normal D&D, you know. People are often like unsure of how to feel about a situation or how their character should be reacting,
Hmm.
you know. So I feel like kind of giving that guidance of like, you know, you're not feeling too hot about this, you know. You're not feeling too confident. You've been, you know, feeling a little bit rocky. It could be a good guidance.
I think that is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Someone go make it. Listeners, go make it.
Just writes down notes frantically. We do find ourselves
Somebody
doing
out
that
there is
sometimes.
compiling this.
Oh no, I'm knocking things over.
Can't keep doing this.
Not like last week where we're like, okay, this terrifying idea would be great to just fuck with your players. It's like, oh, stop, Orion, Sam, don't do this. My DM's a menace already.
Everybody's just out there like, yes.
Me giving an anxiety chart to my DM, watching my DM ruin me with it. And then I'm just like, I'm absolutely ruined. And then I look at them and I'm like, thank you.
I think
this is what I wanted.
I feel like the best place for an anxiety chart in D&D would be if you were running the alternate rule set for level 0 characters.
Oh, yes.
Especially there. Because as they start to move into being actually leveled, level 1, 2, and so forth, you kind of deal with, like you mentioned earlier, like your character kind of deals with a little bit of imposter syndrome because they got all the anxiety of like they're trying to do heroic things and become a hero, but you're starting.
They just
from
got down
0.
by a rat.
Yeah, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's not often where when you play a campaign with characters that are above level 1, right, kind of have the idea that they've been just a year or two. You know what I mean? They have a little bit of experience. They're not as, baby into the mercenary industry or whatever.
Yeah.
But
and
playing
really
with a level 0 and having what?
Well, I was just thinking that really with level 1, you're already above the average person. You know?
Right. You would already be considered, an extraordinary like individual.
Yeah.
Someone could see you on the street and be like, "Oh man, maybe they could help." Like
exactly. Like
right.
no matter how
I guess in a
plain
lot
you
of
are.
cases, a level 1 could be considered like a starting adventurer, right? Like,
yeah,
you'd be
they
at,
got
like the
the
base
sauce
level
there.
of a guild. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Definitely level 1 is more than Ash Ketchum started at.
Yeah, right.
Level 0 is where Ash started in Pallet Town being electrocuted by Pikachu.
Yeah,
right.
honestly.
Yeah, it's a good idea for it, for sure.
One of these days, I gotta try that Pokemon tabletop. Like, I've heard good things.
I have heard very good things too, and I have a D&D 5e supplement that's for Pokemon that I was handed at a convention. Like someone just handed it to me. I was like, okay, it's just on my shelf of many D&D supplements I have.
I love the idea of just going to a convention and like some shady dude in a trench coat's just handing out RPGs.
Oh man, dude! Speaking of Kickstarter launches, don't we have some news for this week?
Oh yes, this is TNM bringing you Nerd News. I love that news stinger.
So good.
I know. I'm feeling the vibe there. Yeah, Tim Van Dalen, one of our first guests on the show. We mentioned it previously, and he's launching his Kickstarter that I think it already launched. The Fernbloom Vale. So that's going to be pretty. Like, if anyone wants to back that, now's the time. And we talked about it a little bit before. He's bringing in all kinds of stuff to his setting, including items, all kinds of. I didn't read enough on it. I feel woefully unprepared.
Oh no.
But yeah, subclasses, items, character backgrounds, items. It's a very like Fernbloom Vale's very like it's a closed situation. So you don't have to worry about the greater world at large. It's practically like running just a single country. This is where your characters are.
Right.
So
I always like those. The smaller settings is always like a comfort too.
Yeah, a smaller sandbox is just as good. You know what I mean? Like Skyrim's fantastic, but you know, you don't have to go to other countries to make the game good when you're playing Skyrim, you know?
Right.
And yeah, that's what they got going good there.
I love Tim. Shout out to him. He was a great guest.
Absolutely.
He's always doing awesome stuff.
They did reach their backing goal. I am
Oh yeah.
currently giving them my money.
Oh yeah.
I can't just not give someone my Kickstarter money. I've backed too many Kickstarters.
I
My
feel
wife
that. I feel
despises.
that.
Well, you're supporting the community, and that right there, it comes back. It's all going full circle, and that's what we love to see here.
Speaking of things like that, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Avatar live action trailer was released this week. And
I saw. I haven't watched
it
it
looked
yet.
pretty good. I guess you can
Damn.
check it out. It's only like about.
I think that's just in time for people to want to get into the Avatar RPG. They just released a Kickstarter like this past month, and that Kickstarter involved the some setting book for Republic City.
Yes.
Mm,
They were playtesting it at Gen Con. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. I backed the original Kickstarter,
yeah.
and the stuff they have for Republic City is amazing. Also, their room this year at Gen Con was so cool. I
Damn, that
spent
sounds
too much
awesome.
time in there.
Dude, what a 2023 and like early 2024 is going off. Like
It is the year for Kickstarters.
Yeah.
I want to make a bit, right? And it's kind of One Piece themed because I'm a One Piece weeb. We all know this.
Okay.
It's no secret. And I'm thinking something along the lines of, there once was a company called Wizards of the Coast who was king of the tabletop RPGs. But before they hung themselves from the gallows, this was the final words they said. Our empire is yours for our dice are yours for the taking, but you'll have to make your own RPG. We left everything we ever loved in D20s. Ever since, content creators all over the community have taken to making their own systems so they can something OGL make their tabletop dreams come true. I did not think this through. This is off the cuff. I'm sorry.
That was so good for off the cuff. You guys remember the scandal with Wizards where they used AI? Their artists used AI art.
Oh man!
That happened again. It happened again.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I just have a thing in front of me right now.
What a fantastic transition to our next news segment.
Yeah, they got caught red-handed again, but this time it was. Oh, I messed a thing up. There we go. I just had to fix that. So, yeah, they messed up again, and it was with the new Lara Croft.
Oh man!
What Lara Croft? They need to stop with these cards. As much as I want, as much as I want the Queen of Polygon massive tits in the early 2000s on one of my cards, I do not. I don't know if this is the place to go, Wizards. Like, yeah, they put a secret lair thing out, right? And their advertisement was clearly AI generated. Like, they had like some posters, some Lara Croft stuff, a little TV, some controllers on the living room floor, a little video game thing going on with like some Tomb Raider shit. So imagine just an immaculate room ready to go for some Tomb Raider fan. And the thing was so blatantly looking like AI, you can only draw two conclusions. They were using a very shitty service that is for making advertisements, or whatever the more budget-friendly version of Canva might be, or they were just throwing a bunch of AI shit into Photoshop and hoping for the best.
I mean, could be any of those, really.
Not with the worst thing is okay. So the original story about Glory of Giants broke the second day of Gen Con. A loyal fan, a person who must complete her collection and own all the books, bought the book. And then the next day they said, it has AI art in it. And I said, I guess it's a collector's edition now.
Right.
Okay, Sam, I'm going to pull it up on our screen here. The little thing that they did with the AI.
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Sam?
On our streams.
Yeah, you can look on the stream right there. But yeah, you see the little TV. It looks just it's okay, you know,
Oh yeah,
if you're
yeah,
handing
yeah.
that in for a high school project.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like something we made in like Photoshop in high school.
Maybe this person just never outgrew their high school shit. I do worry about the coalescence, the crossover, if you will, of when you have very low skilled artists getting accused of AI art in the near future. Like people that are bad at what they do, and then like they're at the same level as AI. So like, oh, the lighting's all off in this. It's totally fucked. And meanwhile, the person that just made it is just dumb. Like, and they're getting accused of ripping things off with AI. Like, I wonder when that will happen.
Could be. That could be the case. I mean,
I think this is AI because I've seen enough AI stuff to be able to spot it. But damn.
we often work with AI here, but I mean, yeah, you
it's
can't pose it as someone else's work.
Yeah,
that's where you get your shit crossed.
Yeah, there is a line. Just don't cross your line.
Yeah.
And then additionally, we do have another little bit of news, just the last bit, because it's been a slow tabletop news week. Now, the Pathfinder, major year for Pathfinder, yes? They are going into the new 2024. They are going to be re-releasing some of their core books that they announced this earlier this year. So they're kind of updating their core books, all these classes and things and little tweaks and changes and tune-ups. So when people joining the hobby get these new core books, they're going to be like, okay, my player's handbook, my dungeon master's guide, they're going to be all updated and tuned up and ready to go. So I guess the old stuff is collector shit now, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Get your discount books.
Yeah.
That's a way of looking at it. But they're going to have their monster core and player core 2. They're scheduled to launch sometime in 2024. I don't think they have an official launch date yet. But they do have some preview PDFs on their website. So if anyone's interested, they can go check that out. Y'all know where Paizo is. You got Google. I'm not your mom.
Yeah. Look, they found us. They can find Paizo.
Definitely. They can find Mathfinder.
Yeah, they can find math.
They already like it.
Yeah, that's it for tabletop news right here. But after closing those two news tabs here, I do see some of the stuff from your Kickstarter, and I do like what I'm seeing here. Like you got the goth kids in here, you got the nerds, the fine arts, the weaves, the loners.
How many clicks can you do?
You can only do one click and one deity type. We didn't consider multi-clicking.
Multi-clicking.
I guess the best way to multi-click would be a floater, essentially, because floaters kind of go between different groups, and you get to choose your bonuses. So we have 4 stats. We have physical, mental, social, and then we have divine, which is your stat that you use to do your divine abilities. Each click comes with a bonus to either 1 or 2 of those stats, and then a bane to 1 or 2, or to 1 of those stats, not 2, only 1 bane.
Right.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I like that. I think that's
I would love to. I would love a playlist. If anyone is looking to run this game, hit us up.
For sure. I really like the concept. And honestly, I've thought about running a Percy Jackson style game before, using some
for a long time,
for some 5e modern type stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that even if I didn't run this system per se, there's tons of rules that in setting and all this stuff right here I would love to just kind of like yoink, just put that in the thing that I'm working on, you know?
Do it. Do it.
Like there's just so much here that it's very compatible with modern settings in general.
Mhm. We love a good fantasy setting, but I am only so creative, and
Mhm.
I can only do so much. I can't recreate a fantasy setting. Like,
Right.
I'm not gonna try. So I really went for modern because it almost feels more accessible to me to do a
Mhm.
modern setting, because you can literally draw on, hey, we all went to the same high school, so at least you kind of know where everything is situation,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
on top of that, you can extend things further. Like you can choose your setting based on like let's say it could be a hometown everybody in the party knows, or you could do a city. And city maps, all of a sudden Google Map is your map,
Your
you
best
know?
friend.
Right. Yeah, or
And
maybe I imagine this would also work if you wanted to slide it to like a college setting.
Hmm. We've considered doing a addition for college where we would kind of just change the clicks around a little bit.
Uh-huh. Kind of
yeah,
like age them up a little bit or
Yeah,
whatever.
age them up
Makes
and maybe change them to like major instead of click.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I
that
like
is a
that.
good idea. And you could definitely work a lot more interesting stuff into that cuz like double
Psychology.
major, for example, you could double click. That'd be a lot of
Understanding
fun.
people.
Ooh, you could incorporate like cults and hazing because it'd be a college
Oh my
Oh,
campus.
gosh.
yeah, the
Yeah,
Rules for
sorority.
hazing,
yeah, or
sorority
like
rules.
the
Ooh.
plot kind of writes itself. Like if you put yourself in like say an Ivy League school, right?
Hmm.
Now, lots of people conspiratize and talk about how you got
True.
these secret societies like the Illuminati and the Skull and Bones and all these other
Yes.
societies. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, you have to infiltrate the conspiracy.
Oh,
You're up in
Yes.
Harvard, you're rubbing elbows with the hoi
yeah.
polloi, and you're just like, okay, we got to get in, but they got this weird satanic thing going on. My God's not with that, so we got to take them down.
Right. This is kind of with the energy of the critical role at Candelis Obscura stuff
Yes, that's
too.
very Candle Obscura.
Like that.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Thank
cool.
you.
It's just
I
one of
took a
those
lot of
things.
my inspiration from like Kids on Bikes, Good Hearts,
Mm,
Monster Hearts. A lot of my favorite like just light indie games. A lot of it's powered by
mhm.
the apocalypse that I drew from, honestly.
Mm.
But I had never played a Powered by the Apocalypse system before, so I didn't know how to write it. So I just made my own system.
Hell yeah. Love it. When
And
in doubt,
the
just fucking send it, man. Make your own shit.
right, like, and the goal is that it'll be a system that I'll continue to write. So, like, my next project, which currently is Scooby Doo and the Ghoul School meets summer camp.
I
So,
love that. I grew up on Scooby Doo, so like I know
Nice.
exactly the movie you're
Oh,
talking about.
yeah. See, I was a
hell
summer
yeah.
camp kid, and like, I love a good summer camp just in
Mm.
general. So it's very much that you're just a normal average Joe and you work at this summer camp and your campers are monsters. Like I work in the werewolf cabin or I work in the
Mm.
vampire cabin,
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's
stuff
pretty
like that.
solid. And then like kind of like the Scooby Doo movie, the rival camp on the other side is just a bunch of military school
Bunch
dudes.
of, bunch of military kids.
Yeah, ROTC. Like,
it,
oh,
it writes itself, and if you go with a camp thing, like the first thing that comes to mind is Kim Possible, like the episode where they went to that summer camp, and
Yes, and
it's
the
like,
lake turned the guy into the monster.
yeah,
oh my
yeah, the lake
god.
turns the guy into the monster, and like across the way, there's like nerd camp and like clown
Yes.
camp, and they're just like, you could just go wild on that shit. Like, oh shit, we're getting in a fight with the clown campers, and they're hiding all over the place, and they're scaring the shit out of Buddy because nobody likes clowns.
Oh my god. Hell
I
yeah.
love that. Oh my gosh.
Infinite
Oh man.
potential. Like You tapped
Not me
into
putting
a
this in my
awesome thing
notes.
here, and I love it.
That's the goal for 2025, probably 2024, 2025.
Yeah,
And then
that's so
after
cool.
that, we're doing Brindlewood Bay meets drag queens.
Interesting.
Interesting. Hey, that is interesting. Oh man.
Yeah. So we have a whole can of ideas, and
Great.
we're very excited about everything. But first goal is a divine calling.
Mm.
All right. Sam, what do you got for the monster this week?
So this week it's a little bit less of a monster and it's actually more of like a little bit of a race. And I realize I don't really talk much about races,
You
you know?
usually don't, because they're
Yeah.
kind of diet.
But I did yeah, I did have the intention of talking about a monster today. But you told me we were talking a little bit about the celestial stuff with, your divine, TTRPG. So I was like, we looked through the celestial creatures, and I've kind of talked about the Hollyphant, the Kirin. Everyone knows unicorns. Thought about the Kutal, maybe someday, right? But then I started looking into wild space, and how little anyone really talks about just the space of D&D, right, and what lives. So then I started looking at like the space scales. I was like, oh shit, these are cool. And then I found something that really kind of stood out: a race of dragon-like centaurs called the Dracons.
Oh
Or
yeah,
the
you mentioned that.
Dracons
Those
or
things
whatever.
go hard.
Yeah, these are a 2E creature. They are a large, lawful good. They were a strange spacefaring race of dragon-headed centaurs with the body akin to a brontosaurus, elephant-like feet, a human torso, six-fingered hands tipped with violent claws. They had a length of 10 to 12 feet, 3 to 3.7 meters, and a lifespan of roughly 158 years. These creatures were sometimes described to be somewhat stuffy in personality and were more likely to retreat than to join a fight. So, so I just love the idea of like these weird like guys just on a ship. I don't know. I don't know.
It,
Spelljammer is something that I haven't really looked into much, and I was very curious.
it's some wild stuff. I plan on incorporating some of the aspects that Spelljammer has into the upcoming One Piece campaign, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of useful things in there, and One Piece is just a wild setting to begin with.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the upcoming One Piece campaign, man.
For sure. So what can you tell us about these things? Like
Yeah,
Draco Centaur. Like I'm hooked right there. Like
I was like, wait, hold on, what?
is this like a dragon deity? Like what's going on here?
So they were a highly civilized race. Dracones abode by a strict and stylized dueling code when solving disputes among themselves. Despite not expecting other races to be bound to their terms, Dracones were honored to accept them if problem by an outsider in special cases. And they, I was able to find like they had kind of code of conduct.
Okay.
So so the challenge code proceeded according to the following steps. One Dracone challenged another. The challenged Dracone had the choice of weapons. The challenger named the terms of the challenge to the death, first blood, etc. The challenge named the location and time for the duel to happen within reason. So pretty basic stuff. Their weapons of choice were thin, long swords, but they were also proficient in claws. They were fond of darts and halberds, which were most commonly used as ceremonial weapons. And they wore armor that was ritualistically donned before battles.
Okay. So this is like
They did have a strange, like, chieftain society that they'll talk about.
they sound like Klingons kinda, you know?
Yeah, kind of. And apparently, they were even known to have, certain like have like their own like opinions and stuff like that, which I think is kind of interesting. They also have their own religion too.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
next up here, they were vegetarian and possessed a strong herd instinct. They usually traveled in family units led by their eldest, who was known as its Kaba. If a Dracon became separated from his family, he became ill until reunited or found a proxy family or a group to join in order to recreate its family structure. For that reason, it was members of other races to adopt stranded Dracons as honorary family members. Similarly, it was also common to find Dracon family groups that had adopted humanoids.
Okay, so they're like
Which
cats.
is interesting. Yeah, which is interesting considering like how they feel about humanoid races, which is really funny.
This just sounds like Land Before Time, but put dragon heads on everyone.
Yeah,
And this
right?
is all I can picture in my head right now.
That's really funny too.
It's
I
like
have some
Littlefoot,
Wikipedia.
but with a dragon head.
That changes
And
the movie entirely.
oh man. Little was known about the Dracon homeworld, but it was described as dry and arid, dominated by grasslands and desert terrain, with shallow sea and inclement climate. The planet was also reported to have one moon. The reluctance of Dracons to describe their home planet to other races was attributed to their distrust of other races. Others speculated that the spacefaring Dracons were in fact lost and could not find their planet, leaving me personally to assume maybe they don't know the name of their planet. Like,
We have a planet. It looks like this.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know a planet
yeah,
like
maybe they
that?
don't know exactly like where in space their planet is.
It's okay if you don't know. No, we have a planet. It's a very glorious planet, very dry and sunny, and it's good for our people. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
people love it there.
Some worlds refer to it as a vacation planet. Oh, so shouldn't be hard to get there, huh?
Yeah. Definitely. So, despite their caution, right, them being very civilized, they're kind of like birds, you know. I mean, they maintained cordial they maintained cordial relationships with humans, elves, dwarves, and even mind flayers. They were all collectively referred to by the Dracons as the deformed, and were all considered to be basically like the same race.
I love their blatant racism towards every other being in existence.
They're like, yeah, man, if you're different, then like you're just weird.
If you're not us, you're just like, you're not us. That's kind of weird. So like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we can work with you. Like we can have a conversation, but the fact is, you ain't got scales like this, man.
What gets really interesting is they usually confusedly describe other humanoids as possessing mixed traits that belong to multiple races, right? So they thought lizard folk as their kind of disabled kin. They're like, where's your where's the rest of you, homie? Like, what's wrong? They've frequently adopted lizard folk into their herds, which I would imagine it's like
they just
like
the
a
entire
stray
tribe. They treat him like a crippled puppy.
Yeah.
This is our lizard folk friend. He as you can
He's
see,
only got 2 out of 4 legs.
He's a little
he's a little slow. It's like those women that adopt 3-legged dogs.
Yeah,
you know?
Yes.
exactly.
Instead of naming their like pet lizard folk tripod like you do a dog, they name their pet lizard folk bipod.
Bipod sounds like a racial slur here.
It does. It does.
I mean,
It didn't
especially
work.
considering, they considered centaurs to be their allies. They thought beholders were comical beings.
Look at this
I think a
motherfucker!
beholder is a comical being.
He don't even have legs!
They don't respect them, all right?
They don't have legs, but they sure have 10 eyes.
They do not respect beholders.
What
But
you doing
dragons-
having that many eyes and no legs?
But they respect dragons, all right? But apparently they hated whatever the Nyogi are. All right, they would just straight up hate those boys.
You gotta have legs to be on the level.
Hold on. Like weird ass centipede spider creatures. Yeah, I hate them too.
Too many legs.
Yep,
Not
too
enough
many
legs. No legs. Too many.
You know, I can get behind this. Oh man. So speaking of what they believed and how they felt about people, their religion.
The things that really separate people at the
Oh,
Thanksgiving
man.
table,
Exactly.
religion and legs.
Exactly. Sorry, Grandpa. The Dracon religion embraced Dracon counterparts, the human, elven, and dwarven deities. The Dracon pantheon, known as the herd of Upkala, was pictured as a great herd that always moved together. It was led by Upkala, the full leader, a deity of wisdom and leadership who always knew the right course of action. The term also to mortals whose decisions were in perfect accordance with Dracon ideals. It was a great honor for an individual to be called Upkala. The pan included a spider-like dark god, an evil tempting deity who snatched children who strayed too far from their herds. Its physical description led some sages to believe that it represented the Nyogi. Oh, okay. That's why they hate them.
It sounds like
Their
Lolth
children get
almost.
snatched up.
Yeah.
It
maybe
does. Right?
maybe it was lost in the centuries of their religion, but maybe they just have a legit hatred of Lolth, and she's got too many legs. She's got that spider behind. Ain't about that shit. Get that bitch out of here.
So I'm looking at the Nyogi page, and it says that they were basically like a wolf spider mixed with an eel. That sounds disgusting.
Oh, that's terrifying. Get that bitch out of here.
I hate it.
An eel? I don't want wolf spiders to be slippery.
But yeah, it's all I really have for Dracon today. They are interesting. I would love to see these, or I guess more Spelljammer like things in 5e.
Put Spelljammer shit like that in Hollywood. Like Hollywood needs ideas.
Oh, man, they need to stop dipping back into the well of nostalgia and ringing that bitch for milk. You know what I mean?
Every time you were talking about their religion, I just kept thinking of the Great Stallion, the religion for the Dothraki in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
So now in my head, it's a bunch of Dothraki riding Bigfoot with a dragon head, and this is what you have taught me today.
I'm
if
glad
you take nothing else from this conversation, let it be that.
Yeah. And
I'm literally gonna finish this call, and I'm gonna go out there and have to describe all of this to my wife.
And I mean, there's no like special abilities. They were just a centaur people, I guess. You know, I wonder. I mean, I guess there's no reason not to assume they couldn't do magic, or have an inclination for magic.
I mean, draconic races usually have something going on.
I'm curious because I was looking at their page and I didn't see any like connection to draconic races. You know what I mean? So they're not draconic, though that they do speak draconic. I mean,
maybe it's like a parallel evolution.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Weird ass planets in the middle of space can just be weird, I guess. Some dragon went there and fucked the centaur, I guess.
Dragons do be like that.
They do. They are the Zeus.
It was a red dragon too. You know those red dragons be doing that.
Yeah, the red dragon do get around like that.
They went up to some random planet. They were like, "Yo, this place is dry as shit."
Let's spice this dry ass planet up a little bit. Come on, guys. And then convinces all of them that 4 legs are superior to everything.
Oh yeah. I wonder how they feel about Dragonborn.
Okay, Sam.
They're like, what's wrong with you?
Could you fight one of these, Sam?
I mean, look, I feel the same way that I would probably feel about a centaur. You having a dragon head probably wouldn't benefit you that much. Like, So I feel like I'd probably take one. I mean,
All right.
they're just like they're regular people, I guess. Nothing
Yeah,
really that special.
What would you put that on the IRL fight score?
It's weird to me that they measured them in length and not height.
Maybe they're low to the ground.
Hold on, let me check my notes again.
Because now you got me thinking like a Komodo dragon.
Okay, so they're 10 to 12 feet
Long.
from head to tail, I imagine, right? So
Yeah.
diagonally, right? So they're fairly large. I mean, if they got like brontosaurus bodies, elephant feet, they're probably pretty big.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna maneuver you. I'm getting to that back, and like you're kind of, you know what I mean. Once I get on that back, you're fucked. So I feel like
I'll give you that.
I'm giving it like a 6. Your size might get me, but unless you do something special, I'm not impressed.
I mean, based on like the way they fight,
Yeah,
you get to choose the
yeah.
terms.
If you
So
challenge them,
they choose longsword, you choose first blood, and then you just get up in there.
Yeah, right.
I think y'all are overcomplicating it. I'm gonna put the IRL fight score at a 1.
Oh yeah.
But before I get to that explanation, I do want to hear what your thoughts are. Like, could you take one of these?
No. No. That thing is so big. They'd be like, fight me. I'd be like, I just want to know about you. Tell me where you're from.
I'm think about like maybe it's like the size of like a bear. How big is a bear when it stands up? Like 10 feet?
Yeah. Well, bears are considered to be large, so yes.
We don't have bears.
Yeah, I mean they are considered to be large creatures. Okay, so we had a whole episode on bears. Okay, just for like my brain scaling, they're bear sized, but they're like they got long bodies.
Yeah, they got the tail and they're like stretched out. But okay, so
get in that guard.
I really do think that fighting these guys is a lot easier than you think, and Yu-Gi-Oh has taught me how. I will challenge them to a children's card game.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Pull out the Beyblade.
It's between that and Dance Dance Revolution.
Let it rip.
You could anyone at Dance Dance Revolution if they had legs.
There's no way you're beating a centaur in Dance Dance Revolution.
Well, they're gonna get all those legs on the mat? I don't think so. They're too long.
Just based on the way their legs bend, I think he would have the upper hand.
Look, I feel like we've all seen what's that show, Over the Hedge or whatever, with the cows. They bust a move.
Yeah, but we're talking longer than a cow. This is a little bit more difficult, man. And I'll have you know, I took 6th place out of like 8 people in a Dance Dance Revolution tournament some years ago. I'm just saying. Once that song gets going, Video Killed the Radio Star, I'm done. Yes. I got you. I'm placing it at a 1.
Look, another thing you could do, they got 6 fingers, they got claws on the ends. Challenge them to like the challenge of dexterity. You know what I mean?
I mean, they got 6 fingers. They got more dexter. They got more dexterous than I do.
Worse?
No, they start flipping coins through those fingers. I don't stand a chance. I bet they can shred on guitar.
How many thumbs do you think they have, or do they just have more fingers?
That's
they got second thumbs.
Maybe they got like a finger coming out of like the wrist, like
like what do they call like a raptor claws?
Yeah.
I'm not on camera, but you were like coming out of the wrist. I was like, yes, like slamming my finger on my wrist, like you guys could see.
We literally did the same thing. It's fine.
We're all vibing. We're on the same wavelength. We got you.
When I lived in New Mexico, we had a bunch of cats that were all polydactyl, and well, I guess our cats had babies that were all polydactyl. And they all had the weird, fucked up little toes. It was so funny. They were so cute.
I love a good polydactyl cat. I think I pet 100 of them when I went to the Hemingway house.
Oh man, so good.
I have a cat like that. Her name is Twinkle.
This is a great episode. Talking about cats.
Well, if you don't have cats at your D&D table, you might have done goofed because, when after a long session of fighting a lich, you need a little snuggle buddy to kind of calm yourself down,
Unless your cat is in your dice tray, making you roll once. Then the cat should be removed from the table.
I wonder if there should be special cat rules. Like, if a cat swats your die, you have to accept the new roll.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Special advantage cat.
I'm walking into my vampire game telling people that. Monday.
My cat is my familiar. All right, they can roll for me.
I can cast spells through them, they can roll for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, what if, if your cat, you kind of train them a little bit to bat away anything that's rolled towards them? So, maybe have a special rule, double or nothing. Like, you double down on your roll, and if you do that, you roll the die toward the cat, and the cat just bats it.
Oh yeah, teamwork.
This is starting to sound like those catapult dice rolling things that I bought and I don't use.
This is just a complex dice towers plot.
You want to talk complex? The other day, I got the inspiration to start working on some tensegrity towers.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that.
And then I found out that they were already a thing, and I'm like, but I looked it up on Google Images. I didn't see it anywhere. Well, why? Why didn't I see it anywhere before now? And then our friend in the server is like, no, it's a thing. Have a look.
Dreams crushed.
Here it is.
No, not dreams crushed, because that tensegrity tower didn't look like how I was thinking. I got a chance.
No, yeah, yours was a lot different,
right? It will be, because I now know what not to do.
True.
I got a 3D printer. I can make this shit.
Oh yeah, you can.
Dust off that printer. The kids really want me to make some stuff. Like, my daughter wants me to make her a golden snake.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I think my other daughter wants me to make something. I'm not really sure what she wants me to make, but I'm sure she'll make it weird.
Well, as long as it doesn't have 10 eyes and float, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, once you're floating, I'm done.
Look, I'm not saying I'm floater racist or anything. But not saying I disagree with their I do.
I'm not saying that beings that float should be allowed to live.
Comical beings, all right? Let's be real here. Just the idea of them being like, ha.
Like ha to a disintegration, right? Like,
yeah, like, they see just like a ship of beholders fly by. They're like, get a little of these guys. These fucking idiots.
I'm sorry, but like a ship of beholders is just as bad as the space clowns to me.
Yeah.
I would rather. I want to leave space if there's a ship of beholders coming at me.
You know what? I think you got a chance if there's a ship of beholders, because you can be like, yo, listen, I heard that Roy over there was talking some mad shit about a mutiny.
There's one beholder standing on top with just like a captain.
He's just got like prosthetic legs.
He has like peg eye stalks.
Oh, it's not random when this guy's launching disintegration. It's the only eye stalk left.
Anti-magic and disintegration. That's all he has.
Oh man.
He cut off the rest of his eyes. That way he has 100% chance of killing dudes. I'm giving too many ideas. These DMs are getting too powerful.
I'm putting this in my notes.
Please do.
I have like this, me and my friends who DM as well have this shared Google Doc, and it's just insane ideas for players. And then it's long. We've had this document for like 3-4 years now.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. Also, you know what? You should send them to check out our show for all the insane ideas we come up with on a regular basis.
Oh, I'm going to. This is gonna become our new problem.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
My players are gonna hate me. That's fine.
If you happen to be one of her players and you're listening to the show, I am disingenuously sorry. Well, not entirely disingenuous, but I am sorry, but I'm not at the
I
same
feel
time.
nothing. I will remain neutral.
I am juxtaposed. I'm not exactly neutral. Like, I'm sorry, but it do be like that
They sat at my
sometimes.
table.
I think a good thing to describe today's episode lines up very well with your Descriptify for this week.
Yes. This week's Descriptify, we have Resplendent.
Wait, you gotta do the stinger.
Wait, did I do the stinger for
As he frantically looks at his keyboard?
You confused me, sir. I didn't make
Did
the
I?
Descriptify. I didn't make the Descriptify stinger yet.
I thought you did.
I was racking my brain before the show, like, okay, I got time to make a stinger for the show.
I thought
And
we
I've been
already had
meaning to do one for a while. Then, poof, off into the ether, the memory to make that specific stinger
I do
gone.
like that sometimes. What's the word again? Resplendent?
Resplendent. Yes.
Ooh.
Something that is splendid or dazzling in appearance, brilliant, even something glamorous, to say the least. This
Colorful. Yeah, right?
Yeah, colorful, shining brilliantly. This is the kind of thing that a
Very colorful.
noble might say, or you'd be describing a noble or a king's palace or a dragon's hoard as resplendent and opulent,
Absolutely. Makes sense.
Also,
I wonder if these,
Tamatoa from Moana.
Yes, very much. That is a resplendent cache
Yes.
that one has.
Absolutely.
I watched that
Wonder
movie
if the
a few
Dracones
hundred
have
times. I kind of lost track after a while. I confused
That's my least favorite song.
Such a good movie.
I
man.
confused the fuck out of my Honduran roommate Juanito one time when he came into the house, and we were playing the movie in Spanish because my kids just watch it so many times. I was like, "Fuck it, we're going Spanish today," and it's very confusing because some things don't translate exactly the same for the songs. For example, when Maui's singing "You're Welcome," Spanish "You're welcome" is de nada, which literally translates to "it's nothing." So he's just dancing around on the screen, singing, "Yo, I raised the sky. I ripped this shit out of the sea. I'm doing all this crazy God stuff. It's nothing."
It's nothing to me, man.
So much better.
This shit ain't nothing to me, man.
It's nothing. I took an eel, buried its guts, sprouted a tree. Now there's coconuts. It's nothing, bro.
Oh yeah, he was cooking. Dude, did you hear about the live action Moana?
Get rid of it. I don't need to deal with Moana again.
Jesus Christ.
That movie's too recent for them to. You know what? Disney needs to just they need to shut up and just start listening to what people actually want. I've heard people talk for years about how Treasure Planet would be the ideal live action remake.
They care about what people want. This is 2023, Orion.
Well, it's about to be 2024, and if they don't straighten up, they're going to go bankrupt.
Bob Iger won't let that happen.
Man.
Well, is he going to start putting his own money in there?
He would.
Cut his paycheck.
I said this before we started recording. I'm a travel agent, so I know too many facts about Disney. Just the insanity. They bring $30 billion in economic revenue to Florida, and Ron DeSantis had the balls to go, "I don't like you. You're too liberal." And I was like, who's gonna win, Ron DeSantis or Disney? Who do you think's gonna win?
Let's be real here. Disney is one of the biggest corporations in the world. They basically run most of the world.
Yeah, the Illuminati is just Disney.
Yeah, I feel that, but at the same time, you got to admire the balls it takes to be like, "Fuck you, Disney. I'm going for it."
He went for the throat.
I mean, if he wants to keep doing that and Disney wants to come to Texas, I won't say no.
Look, man,
Texas is that kind of a place. Everyone's going to Texas.
We got those lax business laws.
Some would even say they're sketchy, but that's
They
okay.
are just a little sketchy.
I mean, Disney's kind of sketch. They let some kid get eaten by a crocodile. Like,
Bro,
They let a bear into the park.
You know how many kids go missing in like the Disney parks? Oh my god!
listen,
not to think
I'm
about
not saying that Disney is a fast track to Epstein's Island, but I'm not saying it isn't. Disney be sketchy as fuck, man.
Yeah, I mean, shit. It's the corporations. Here at Dungeons and
Child
Talk
leashes were
Shows.
invented for a reason.
Here at Dungeons and Talk Shows, we do not support the federal corporations.
The federal corporations. It's so accurate and so wrong at the same time. I love it. Well, yeah, we just don't like authority in general.
Nah, get them out of here.
You got money and power? Fuck you. Until we have money or power. Then the shoe is on the other foot and
It's
fully
fine.
laced.
Once we have money and power, you can say fuck us. It's fine.
Yeah, you know, we expect this. It's how the world works.
It's the circle of life.
Everything the light touches. Damn, every time I think about The Lion King, I think about the time I convinced a bunch of Job Corps students that it was a allegory for why socialism is bad.
Jesus Christ.
I was just pulling shit out of my ass. It was hilarious.
That sounds like those college classes that they're like the professor's like, if you come in and participate, and participation can be as vague as, hi, I'm here today. Yes, I agree to Lion King is about socialism.
Oh yeah, I was spouting off. I was like, yeah, you see, when you have an unfettered immigration of hyenas into your kingdom, and then like you're redistributing all the wealth and all the taxes to everybody, and in this case, taxes are all the animals that are getting eaten.
Zebra.
Yeah, zebras are taxes. So the lions, they had a measured amount of tax collecting where, you know, every now and then they'd go out, collect the taxes and kill some animals. But when the hyenas came in, they're just taking too much of the taxes and everything was barren, done, dead and destroyed. And then you had to have someone come back in and throw a cue.
This sounds like a documentary. I would watch it 2 a.m.
This is the TED Talk that we need.
I'm the Lion King. The world you didn't know.
Is Scar a socialist? Let's find out.
This has been a resplendent conversation.
Very much so. You know, the funny thing is the entire thing could have been completely avoided if Mufasa did what lions are supposed to do when they win and just finish Scar off.
Kill Scar, right?
Yeah.
Because like when the male lions fight to decide, I think this was in a documentary. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me later, but I'm pretty sure that like the loser is supposed to get killed in the process.
Yeah, basically.
Because otherwise they just they become bitter and cynical and they come back later.
I'm pretty sure if
they make you sing about coconuts.
Yeah, like if they don't die during the fight, they get killed by the pack after. Like,
yeah, I think I heard something about that, you know, on National Geographic maybe.
Then it's like, I'm not even gonna bother to kill you myself. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't even worth it.
Ooh, that could be very good for the occasional player that's just like, hey, I was going to be a king, and they try to, or prince, and they put that in their backstory, and then you're just like, nah, you're getting the Scar backstory. You're marked across the face, and you're and you had to escape the kingdom because like when fighting your brother for the throne, you lost, and after that he showed a little bit of mercy, but everybody else was not merciful.
Dude, I love the idea of exile. You know, it's always like an alternative to being like executed or something. You just being told to like just get out of here. It's so funny. Just get the fuck out of here, man. Just don't come back. It's so funny to me. Go get.
You're straight evicted from a country.
Oh man, I want to see your face again.
That
It's
would
so
be a
good.
hilarious consequence for
Oh,
people in Curse of Strahd specifically, because in Curse of Strahd there are 3 main towns and only one of them is decent. And if you
Oh
like one of the
man.
like in the book as a like DM, it's like your players could get kicked out of this town. That would really suck. What if you're exiled from the town
Yeah, you just straight up like
instead?
don't come back.
Do not come back. Banished to the woods.
Depending on how dangerous the woods are, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Because then you get in situations where your players are like, "All right, I'm gonna sneak in," and they're like, "You're gonna fucking die."
It's already bad enough. Like most campaigns, you don't track food and stuff. But if you are
Yeah.
I did in Strahd.
if you're
Ooh.
exiled from society, you better
Mhm.
start tracking those rations now.
Are you not playing something like a druid or something? You best believe you're getting tracked.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
Oh man, I think this is a pretty good segment into our homebrew segment for this week too.
yeah.
Cheer Realm! Cheer Realm! Lots of fun! Excellent!
Yes, the generic realm.
Down
Now
here in generic realms.
it's party time.
Every
Uh,
time I hear one of y'all's like heavy metal like things, it just takes me back to the Dolly Parton new album that she dropped, the rock and roll album.
Did she really?
It's
Oh
so
man,
good.
I haven't heard this.
She sings with Stevie Nicks, and I'm like, this is not what I asked for, but this is everything I
Interesting.
needed in my life. She sings with
Interesting.
like Leonard Skinner. It's insane.
it's out of left field, and I'm okay with that.
It is. It's very
I am.
good. Dolly Parton can do no wrong.
Well, she's an American treasure, like
She
Danny
is.
DeVito.
Absolutely. We stand Danny DeVito on this show.
If shout out to Danny DeVito if he wants to come on the show and learn how to play pretend with grown ass adults and dice.
Man,
I think he'd be
imagine
very good at it.
just getting to talk to Danny DeVito for like 2 minutes would go crazy.
Sorry, I totally derailed y'all's homebrew combo.
No, you're good.
No, it's all good because that's how this show works. But I am tying it back in because this week's homebrew that I present to y'all it's God related. It is because we have the Volcano Domain Cleric subclass.
Ooh,
Yeah, let me just
we love
pull
clerics.
exactly. And a volcano domain that just
That
sounds
sounds really
badass.
I just dropped my players in a volcano recently, so
Dude, I
Me
really
too.
liked when I had my players go through like a volcano-y area.
That fight was crazy, dude.
That was so fun.
Okay, so volcano domain. The god of fire beneath the mountain lies dormant no longer. Those who walk barefooted. Wait, who the fuck is walking barefooted? I'm losing myself here. Those who walk barefooted upon their scorched earth, their scorched soil, are alert to bubbling power beneath their feet. Clerics of the volcano domain channel the warmth of a simmering volcano in the way they tend to their abilities, and let it erupt in searing fury to destroy their foes.
Nice.
Okay, so they get some volcano domain spells. First level, we're getting Cure Wounds and Eyes of Immolation. Now, if you're going to have Cure Wounds, I'm going to flavor that as your cauterizing shit.
yes.
I'm going to look up Eyes of Immolation because I've never heard of this.
Honestly, it makes me think of my favorite cantrip from Pathfinder, Cauterize, like from first edition.
Immolation?
I don't know if it's in second. No, the Cauterize as a cantrip. That's.
Oh no, yeah. So I wonder if is Eyes of Immolation like special to this?
There are some special spells in the back.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So following up at third level, we got Healing Spirit and Unstable Explosion.
So here. So I'll go ahead and read the special spells for people who don't know what they are. So Eyes of Immolation, here you go. Is a first level spell. Arcane Primal. Somatic component, range of 30 feet. Your eyes glow with fiery light before focusing on a creature you can see within range, causing a beam of fire to shoot from your eyes. Target creature must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, takes 3d6 fire damage and is set ablaze, taking 1d6 damage at the end of each of its turns. Blah, blah, blah. Save at the end of its turn for half damage, which is not set ablaze. Can upcast level 2. Cool.
Light them
Nice.
up.
Guess that one's really cool.
Yeah, and the name is great. Then let's see, 5th level we got Aura Vitality and Fire Cyclone. At 7th, Aura of Life and Fire Shield. And then cap it off at 9th with Mass Cure Wounds and Pyroclastic Lance. Ooh, that's a fun name for a spell.
You can go ahead and read these ones if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go into the abilities because it's really short with those, minus the Volcanic Blessings.
Yeah, these are pretty much what you would expect them. Fire Cyclone, Fire Lance, hurl it, do a bunch of fire damage.
Yeah. So starting off, we got Searing Insight. When you choose this domain at 1st level, you gain the Create Bonfire cantrip if you don't already know it. This cantrip doesn't count against the number of cantrips that you know, and you get proficiency with Medicine, Nature, or Survival, your choice. Then we got Volcanic Blessings. At 1st level, your healing magic grants a blessing to those who receive it. Whenever you use a spell at 1st level or higher to restore hit points to a creature, you can apply a Volcanic Blessing to the creature. A creature can only have one blessing at a time, and if a new one is applied to them before the blessing expires, it replaces the previous blessing. You give them a blessing determined by the numbers on the dice rolled, and there's a little table right next to it for all that. If you do not roll any dice to heal, such as when maximizing the die, you cannot apply the blessing. Okay, so if you have an ability that would make you get maximum and not roll the die at all, you don't, no blessings.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, that's fair.
And the die table is a D8. So first blessing, target gains a +1 bonus to all ability checks for every one you rolled when applied. For every one you rolled when you applied this blessing for the next 10 minutes. Okay. Then number 2, we got the target of this blessing gains a +1 bonus to all attack rolls for every 2 you rolled when applying this blessing for the next. Okay, so I guess you can do it multiple times to get more stacked bonuses? That's a little weird, but I'll take it.
Okay.
And let's see, number 3. The target of this blessing adds a d4 fire damage to any attacks they make or damage cantrips they cast for the next minute. If you rolled a 3 when applying this blessing, for every additional 3 you rolled, the fire damage die increases up to a d12.
Ooh, interesting. Oh, I wonder if this is okay.
Okay, so like if you okay, so this applies to when you're using healing spells. So like if you upcast, then you have the potential of getting multiple of the same numbers rolled because you're rolling multiple dice.
I like that.
Okay.
I was a tad confused at first, but that's okay. We have deductive reasoning here.
Yeah.
The target of this blessing subtracts 2 from all damage taken for the next minute for every 4 you rolled when applying this blessing.
Okay.
Number 5, the target of this blessing adds 5 feet to all their speed characteristics for every 5 you rolled when applying this blessing for the next minute. 6, the target of this blessing gets a +1 bonus to all saving throws for every 6 you rolled when applying this blessing for the next minute. 7, the target of this blessing gets a +1 to all of their to their AC for every 7 you rolled before when applying this blessing for the next minute.
Nice.
And then 8 is the big one. The target of this blessing instantly replenishes uses of a class or racial feature. The feature must normally replenish on a short or a long rest and have a maximum number of uses greater than 2. If the feature replenished is not a spell slot, the target replenishes 1 use of the feature for every 8 you rolled. Okay.
Okay.
And
That's interesting.
it is. If the feature replenished is a spell slot, the target replenishes 1 spell slot of a level up to the number of 8s you rolled when applying this blessing. The maximum number of spell slots for a spell slot restored must be greater than 2. A creature can benefit from this effect once before completing a short or long rest. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
I've never heard of a 5th edition ability to restore someone else's resources.
There is with Wild Magic Barbarian, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because one of our players is a half Wild Magic Barbarian, half Paladin of something, and can punch my character to give me a 3rd level spell slot back so I can cast Sending. So I can't remember if it's a
Interesting.
Paladin or ability, but I think it's the Wild Magic Barbarian ability.
That's very interesting. That's a very rare thing to find.
Yeah. The idea of, giving back, something like a Dragonborn, their breath weapon, or, somebody their ability to fly, if they're like Aircocker or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, that's pretty cool. Or someone giving back like their like action surge, or
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
you get really crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, comboing
Pretty
with a
cool.
fighter, like you heal them and they get
Holy
an action
shit,
surge
bro.
back.
That would be so good.
I like this, and I love the kind of Indonesian style art right here on the page because
Yeah, that's really cool.
like circles back to how we were talking like Moana earlier, So 2nd level we got Fertile Eruption. You can use your channel divinity to release a surge of healing from you. As an action, you can choose to roll a number of die and assign each die to a creature of your choice within 30 feet of you. You can assign multiple die to the same creature. When a creature has a die assigned to them, they regain hit points equal to the number of all die assigned to them, and they can be given a volcanic blessing as usual. Each time you use this feature, you must choose one of the following type of die to roll in the corresponding number to roll and the corresponding number of that die. Okay. So you roll a number of d8s equal to 1 plus your proficiency bonus, a number of d6s equal to 3 plus your proficiency bonus, a number of d4s equal to 2 plus your 2 times your proficiency bonus.
Ooh.
So this is a party buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's a
I
wide
really
field.
like the balance between being destructive but healing.
Yeah.
Because when I saw the name Volcanic Domain Cleric, I was like, this is gonna be a lot of beating people up with fire.
Yeah.
I like that there's
It's
healing.
just another fire,
It's leaning
caster.
into the aspect of volcanic deities are deities of destruction and life.
Exactly.
And like rebirth, stuff like that.
So that I really like. And consistent buffing of the party. This is a true support subclass.
Yes.
With, it looks like consistent damage and from pretty decent ranges as far as I can see, as well as, pretty good AoEs.
And the ability to buff your party in this way, like you roll a number of d8s, okay, cool. You split that among the party, or number of d6s, boom, everyone's buffed. They get like a different blessing.
Yeah.
So everyone get a +1 on your saving throws. Everyone get an extra plus to this stat. Everyone get a buff to your AC. And objectively, these are pretty balanced as far as buffs go.
Yeah. For sure.
And I could see some potential here. Like, I don't know if you could necessarily manipulate, like maybe if you had like some ability to re-roll certain things, then you might be able to
maybe.
apply that.
Opposing like advantage and stuff.
Yeah.
See that.
Well, advantage wouldn't necessarily apply to some of the dice that you're rolling here. But I would imagine that there are some abilities that could work with that. Moving on to 6th level, we got geothermal reforging. In addition, so you have resistance to fire damage. In addition, when you use a spell of 1st level or higher, or a class feature to restore hit points to a creature, you can re-roll a number of dice rolled to determine the amount of hit points restored. The number of die you can re-roll equals your proficiency bonus. Okay, so they beat me to
Right.
it. Then after that, we got potent spellcasting at level 8. You add your wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any cleric cantrip.
Ooh, nice.
So Sacred Flame just got a spicier.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cap things off at level 17 with Erupting Blessings. When you use a spell slot of 1st level or higher, or class feature to restore hit points to a creature, but before you roll any die, you can choose a number of times.
Oh, you can choose a number.
Yes. Each time that number appears on a die, you roll when rolling to see how many hit points you can restore. You can roll an additional die and add it to the total.
Nice.
You can continue to roll additional die until the number you choose no longer appears across any die. So you can max stack.
Yeah.
If you wish to reroll any damage, not damage. If you wish to reroll any die using your geothermal reforging feature, you must do so before rolling any additional die from this feature. Also, when you apply a blessing to another creature, you can choose to gain the benefits of that blessing as if you had applied it to yourself. Okay.
It only rolled half as many of the number. Okay. Round it up. Okay.
So that's a good capstone, you know?
I like this. This is cool.
Really gets you set up to buff yourself and your allies. At that point in the game, you're going to be facing stuff that you want to be able to have consistent buffs that are tactical for your party. So by that point, being able to stack the dice in your favor to get what you're looking for, perfect.
Dude, imagine you stack this with like a paladin or something. It'd go crazy.
It would.
Or like a fighter. Oh man.
Yeah, the spells that we were looking at earlier, they really are just the spells are going to be what gives you your big damage, and the features are what give you your buffs and healing.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about the access of spells you're gonna have just by being in the cleric list. There's so many, bro. And there's already so many like AoE buffing and healing spells that you could take. And it seems like your damage is pretty much covered with the spells you're given.
Yeah. I love the versatility here. It's very consistent. Overall, good. Yeah, Crossout has done a very good job here. I think it's pretty balanced.
Yeah. What would you give a rating for this one?
I would say 9 out of 10. And that's only because like there's so much good here. It might be too good. But it looks balanced.
Yeah.
What would you two think?
I feel about the same. I like the spells. I like the features. I'm always a little bit like reluctant when I see classes that are like 1st level, 2nd level, 6th level. Just because like me personally, I like to kind of keep things like, because this would make me want to subclass it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that gives me a lot of ideas like, okay, well, what can I pair this with to kind of fill those blanks?
Yeah, I could see someone breaking it if they multi-classed it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see the potential here, and I like it. I like everything this has to offer on its own, and everything that this could just go with just sounds really good.
That being said, anyone listening that wants to use this subclass, after checking it out in the description, just play responsibly with this one. You don't want to piss off any DMs out there, because this is if they're letting you use this, let it be fun. Don't make them miserable. you know.
No, man, I like the idea of like giving your DM like forcing them to react to something like this. You know what I mean? You have somebody who can now kind of support the party in a wide scale way. You bring creatures that now do wide range attacks, or you bring multiple swarms. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's kind of, you can get very creative and interesting with your encounters when you have something like this.
absolutely.
I
Now,
wonder
yeah.
if you could like stack this with like a silvery barb situation.
Ooh.
If you took like if you multied with like wizard or sorcerer or bard, or even I think you can get silvery barbs if you pick up magic initiative. Don't
Yeah,
quote me on that one.
I think
Yeah,
you're right.
magic initiate would be the one. Yes.
Yeah, because it's a first level, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm
that
gonna
would be so good.
Yeah. The multi-class potential is definitely high since it's on a cleric.
Hmm.
Okay, Sam. Want to
Yeah, I guess
jump
we'll
into
go ahead and
yours?
go into mine. So today I have brought the Poncho of Caustic Etherealness and the Caustic Phantom, the creature it comes from, created by Ari Ains Codex on Reddit. They do have a Patreon as well, so shout out to them. And I'm pulling this up again. This art, by the way, looks fucking sick. Shout out to the Codex of Strings, and their website and everything. That's their module that they have. It seems super cool. So go ahead and talk about this. This is a wondrous, very rare item. Requires attunement. This fine garment was made by a very skilled arcane weaver using the veil of a freshly hunted caustic phantom. To attune to it, a creature must spend 1 minute inside it, taking 1d6 acid damage every round.
Ooh.
After that time is elapsed, the caustic nature of this item will stop harming them and they will become attuned to it. While attuned to the poncho of caustic etherealness, a creature gains resistance to acid damage and the ability to cast the spell etherealness once per long rest. Additionally, when hit by a melee attack with a reach of 5 feet, the attacker takes 2d6 acid damage. So nothing too crazy. But I also wanted to talk about the Caustic Phantom. Because this just the creature this comes with, and I love the idea of having this item and then pairing it with like it comes from this. I always love that.
It's an item that has a stat block monster to go with it, so that's a good pairing.
Yes.
Right. So I'm gonna talk about this monster a little bit. So as you can see, it looks kind of like my brain comes to like a Martian, like when they have like their full like transformed form, without like the double arms or whatever. Kind of look like those.
Oh yeah, like a
xenomorph.
Yeah, almost like a xenomorph Martian Manhunter type
Yeah,
situation. With like
really
these
cool. I like it.
long claws, and it almost it looks like a Cthulhu on the back, Just
Yeah, it almost has like the wispy like tentacles almost. It's kind of cool. So go ahead and talk about this. So the Cosmic Phantom is a medium aberration, chaotic evil, AC of 14, speed of 45 feet. Pretty normal. This is a where's the CR?
It's
CR4.
Yeah, CR4.
Nothing too crazy. Got a strength of 10, dexterity of 18, constitution of 13, intelligence of 14, wisdom of 12, and charisma of 5. So understands deep speech but cannot speak. Very sneaky creature indeed.
It's a sneaky boy, got the sneak attack, evasion. So this is like an acid rogue type monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just real quick over some of its more special abilities. We got acidic etherealness. The caustic phantom can move through other creatures as if they were difficult terrain. When traversing this way for the first time in a round of combat, a creature takes 1d6 acid damage. Then it has the acid damage sneak attack, has the evasion, like you said. If the caustic phantom is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, it instead takes no damage. If it succeeds on the saving throw, and only half of it fails. It can also cast the spell Etherealness as an action 3 times per day. It's pretty cool. What's also really crazy kind of stands out to me. The engulf attack that it has throws itself onto a large or smaller creature within 5 feet. The target must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw or become painfully melded with the caustic phantom. Holy shit. While melded, the creature takes 4d6 plus 7 acid damage at the start of each of its turns. Targets can use their action on a subsequent turn to try and break the meld. Other creatures can also spend their action to attempt to break the hold, but take acid damage each time they try. Yeah, it's just a full grab.
This thing is, it's fun. I like the concept because it presents a very, this is just one of those things where it can run around being like, hey, I'm Danny Phantom and I'm going to rub acid on you.
Suddenly there's a group of these, you got a problem. If you don't have someone who can deal with something that's shifting in between the ethereal, oh man.
Oh yeah, for sure. More than one is a problem.
Primary part, melee party, you're getting hurt by acid damage every time you try to hit it.
Acid damage, that's gonna etch away at your sword. It's gonna etch away.
Yeah, and then if you have a DM who's calculating that shit, good luck.
I do like that they did take the time to include that if you try to remove someone from the grapple, you are taking damage.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that in D&D.
So. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I also really like the attunement process. Has this engulfing, trait where you have to kind of let it engulf you, get used to it.
It's kind of like the scorpion armor from Tomb of Annihilation.
Oh yeah, true. I like that. Very, very cool. I like this a lot. Shout out to Adrian Stringweaver and the Adrian's Codex. Shout out to them. That's really cool.
Yeah, leaving a link to that below for sure. It's just, we do not see enough of stuff like this,
Yeah. I feel like the fact that there's a monster to go with it makes it like a 10 out of 10. Like the item is fairly simple and easy to understand, good use, especially to anyone who's a melee, caster. Or
it's balanced. Fighter. There is a cost, and the cost is dramatic. This whole thing is very dramatic.
Yeah, I love the idea of someone being like, hearing about these creatures and being like, oh, I want this ability. You know what I mean? I want to see what I can do with it. And then they make this poncho, and it was worth it.
I would say it'd be fun, like your party maybe meets someone who's using this, and they see this person just blitz through some enemies, and they ask like, what is this poncho thing that you got going on? Like this magic thing, like someone just touched you and just acid. What the fuck, dude? Oh yeah, I skinned this caustic phantom. It's a part of me now. Where would you find something like that? Oh yeah, in the marshes of
my village was attacked by caustic phantoms.
I lived in a swamp town called Thebes. It was destroyed by caustic phantoms, but not before I took their leader.
I also love the idea, think about what you could do with like creatures like this that shift into the ethereal. You could just be like, oh, they showed up one day, started swallowing the townspeople. Like,
what do you do?
Oh my god,
this is terrifying. You can just get entire villages wiped.
When we went to go fight them, our blades just phased through and then melted in our hands. Like, oh my god, bro.
You could telegraph to your players by having an encounter with these. Like, say they're fighting some bandits or something, and then the caustic phantoms just come in and they're getting everyone. They don't care. There are no sides, and all of a sudden you're looking over at these bandits that you were harassing before. You see one get completely melted. The leader looks over to you. Let's call a truce. Yeah. Truce. Get your ass over here. Come on.
I love that. I love a good situation where you can turn like your enemy into your friend, even for like just a moment.
Yeah.
Like that's so good.
And even being like, a CR4, they're fairly like, they're not really that strong, but like their traits make them strong. They're smart enough to be like a threat.
Very similar to like shadows, the ones that have the strength drain power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do they call, like, shades or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
They can hit above their weight class, and I think this falls into that category of hitting above its weight class.
You
Mhm.
send like 10 of these towards a town. Good fucking luck.
Town gone.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a necromancer or whatever is using these. Fuck.
Oh, that'd be great.
Nobody ever has acid immunity anyway.
No, people really don't think about it until they fight an ooze and lose all their weapons.
I would say you might even want to include some of the if you wanted to beef the stat block up beyond the how
Have like a leader variant.
Yeah, if you make a leader variant and you just take a couple things from like a gelatinous cube.
Oh my god,
Terrifying.
I also wonder, because this makes me think, if you can make the poncho out of this thing, what kind of weapons can you make?
Yes.
Can I make like a caustic sword now, or like a caustic ethereal blade? That sounds fucking cool.
That's very
People don't
interesting.
play with like etherealness enough. Like,
I really don't. It's because it's hard to deal with.
This is true.
But that's the point. Like, it's supposed to be.
Like I just got etherealness, and as someone who's playing a bard rogue, etherealness is now the reason I steal things.
Fair enough.
Something I play around with too. When we were doing our Grim Hollows campaign, we had one of our players was like a warlock, kind of dark, mostly necromantic abilities. So on occasion, I would give her, a little glimpse into like the etherealness going on. Maybe she'd see a ghost or something. And then they had an encounter with this ghost dog. And it was just a fun session to play around with, like, oh, it's gone. Oh, you watch it phase into a wall and disappear from sight. And now it's, walking up next to you. Like, it's just kind of, they're just there. And they're always there. And then it makes you think of, like, oh my God, what else is just, like, chilling on the ethereal plane? Like,
hags. The answer is hags.
It always hags.
It's like a running joke now in our game because we started out playing Tomb of Annihilation, right? And so there are hags in that tomb. And I took sea invisibility after the hag stole my hair.
Oh no.
So my character is just plagued with hags. And anytime she thinks there's like a hag, she'll look and cast sea invisibility because you can see to the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've seen so many invisible hags, it's insane.
If we leave you with anything in the final moments of this episode, it's to have a hag dip its hand out of the ethereal to steal some of your players' hair. All right?
Do it.
I love it.
Traumatize them.
Yeah. Suddenly there's a hand, your player's like, hey, what's going on over there? Cha-ching! And it's gone.
Indecisive players? Well, guess what? You're getting harassed by the ethereal.
Now your players are paranoid and terrified of everything. Congratulations.
As all things should be.
So, this GinGal Games, if we would like to leave anything with the listeners today.
Go play games. Check out your favorite indie creator.
Yeah.
Go make someone happy. Back a Kickstarter. Comment on their products. Things like that. We are a community for a reason, and it is listeners, players, friends, all of that make this community what it is.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And it's been great having you on. You've been a wonderful guest.
All right, this has been a fun episode.
I agree. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And as always, everyone have a great weekend.
Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Terrorize your players in another week of this D&D spectacle that we do here, I guess. We'll give you more ideas next week.
Dungeon and Talk Shows. We got ideas.
Yeah.
That needs to be the next stinger.
We got ideas.
We're nerds. We have ideas. And we are clear.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for having me. That was so much fun.
Thanks for coming on.
A little bit of a long episode this time, but I think it's okay. That was fun.
I do have to dip out, but thank you guys so much. And if you guys need anything from me, message me. I will be more active at checking my messages.